afternoon, fellow school leaders. It's a pleasure to be a part of the Learning Academy of C&E. So thank you so much for
Our
inviting.
pleasure din po.
Yes, opo. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. I am given just 2 hours, am I correct? Or 1 hour and 45 minutes, as Claire has said. Okay, so I have to, this is a challenge actually, because I have to condense a whole day workshop that I have been doing in marketing into 2 hours. So that's the challenge. So we'll see. We'll try to finish to the best of what we can this afternoon. So let me see. So my slide is already up there, parent magnet blueprint. But before that, may I just ask, to our dear participants, I see here, there, quite a number. May I please know what your role is in your school? Hello? Can you please type in the chat box, what is your role? Let me see. Hello, dear participants. Are you still there? There. Ma'am Margarita is the principal. Wow, okay. Sir Freddy, our faculty, registrar, principal, finance officer, our principal as well. Oh, there. Owner and principal. Wow, that's Ma'am Galang. Jennifer, or a subject coordinator, deputy. Okay, so there. So we are all school leaders. So there you go. I'm just wondering, mom subject. Okay, there. I'm just wondering if there's anyone who has already joined in one of my presentations, probably in the past. Can you please type in the chat box? Yes or no? Or you have never heard of me at all in the past? Have you heard about me in the past? Never. Please just type never or whatever. Sige po. No po. There, Ma'am Violi. Okay. Never po. Yan. First time. Wow. Sir J. Okay. And first time as well. There. Okay. And let me see. Okay. So there. So it's all our first time. All right. To meet each other. And yes, it's online. So there we go. Okay po. So thank you for responding. So let's now proceed to our presentation this afternoon. It's my hope that you would be able to pick up a thing or two. Okay, so as mentioned, I am from Jubilee Christian Academy. I took over in the past, pre-pandemic. We did not have a marketing department in the past. I do not know if in your schools you have your marketing department. We started having marketing department 2022 towards the latter part, because our concern then was how can we rise up from the ashes of pandemic. So that was our main problem, because we had 13% drop in terms of enrollment. Okay, so that was our concern. I don't know if that was your concern in any way or two as well. Okay, so parent magnet blueprint. We're going to talk about something that we silently struggle with. I don't know if that's your struggle also, because just like what I've said, post-pandemic, how are we going to go back to our original school enrollment level? That was the target. Because of course, if there are no students in school, then how can we grow, right? Okay, so sometimes this is a problem that we do not admit. But of course, every school faces this. But as of date, I know of 3 schools in Metro Manila. This is not their problem. Dropping school enrollment is not their problem. I have data from them, because we love doing benchmarking with other schools there. And I always turn green when we speak about them. But of course, we cannot always be green, correct? We have to do our share as well. That's why we are here talking about enrollment this afternoon. Okay, how do we increase enrollment? Sometimes schools would join tuition wars. promo wars, even the Facebook ads everyday war. So the Facebook ad, the social media, sometimes it has become a war already. So I'll show you how K-12 schools create market driving innovation. Okay, market driving. What is this market driving? We will talk about that. When we say innovation, we are going to talk about that as well. But again, just like what I've mentioned, we may only be scratching the surface because this is supposed to be one whole day workshop. We will skip the workshop. We will skip the case studies also. I hope Claire or C&E would be able to come up with a one whole day workshop. Hi, Claire. Hello. In the future so that we can talk more about this. So basically, just to set your expectations, this is more of concept building, trying to challenge you. So that's my objective, to challenge you to think. Well, of course, we all know this, how to think outside the box, but in a different angle, in a different perspective. Is that okay? So are you all with me? Hello, please type yes in the chat box if you are still with me at this early point. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Even for those thumbs up. Okay. So let me ask, what do you see? What do you see? By the way, it's okay to turn on your microphone, and if you can say your responses. Okay. Oh, so the responses are quick. Let me see. I just have to set it up I set up the chat. Okay. Sir Freddy, banana. Ma'am Milagros, bunches of bananas. Ma'am Elizabeth, bananas also. How about the others? What do you see? Ma'am Marites, yellow bananas. Okay. How about the others? So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 responses. Okay. Yeah. Pretty obvious. Stating the obvious. We are all seeing bananas. Correct? These are all bananas. But, you know, when we talk about bananas and these bananas, we are seeing something similar, pare-pareho. And it looks like these bananas have been cloned, correct? All bananas. There's no identity. I would say that, ladies and gentlemen, this is our K-12 landscape. Yes, we think we're different, but from the outside, from the parents' eyes, we all look like bananas. Same program, same messaging, same claims, same promises. This is the sea of sameness. All right? Sea of sameness. That's why in our lineup today, number 1, we will be talking more about the sea of sameness, how competitive the K-12 landscape is. We are going to come up with a solution. I'll be presenting a solution, which is the market driving strategy, as well as the business model innovation, and then the plan of action, which is the parent magnet blueprint. Okay, so this is our lineup in this 2-hour session. So going back to the bananas, all right, they look like they are cloned, sea of sameness. Do you know where that sea of sameness leads us? Do you know where it is? Here. Who has heard of the red ocean in the past? Red ocean. Red ocean as a principle, as a thought, as a concept. Please write it in the chat. I love to interact with you and know where you are. I see one doing a thumbs up. Okay, thank you for that response. Red ocean. Anyone else other than the one hand thumbs up? Who has heard of the red ocean in the past? Okay. So welcome to the red ocean, where schools fight for the same parents, offer the same solutions, and use the same tactics. And when everything looks the same, the only way to compete is to fight. Fight on price, just like what I mentioned a while ago, fight on promos, fight on freebies, fight on, desperation. And we never meant to live here in this red ocean. But we are here. We are swimming with the sharks. And some schools, they don't just swim with the sharks. They join the sharks. Anyone who has heard of the lamon mentality? There? Please type in the chat. Anyone who has heard of the lamon mentality? What is lamon mentality? Anyone? Hello? None. No response. Are you all okay? No response. There's none. Okay. But this, ripe bananas. Wow, that's nice. Lamon mentality. Let me introduce this term. This lamon mentality, I've created or concocted this idea. It's called lahat Montessori. It's lamon. I'm not attacking Montessori schools here. But what I'm showing is what happens when everyone copies the same label without changing the value? We think we are being unique, but we're actually becoming more similar. All right? I'm going to introduce to you another here. Who has heard of L-Pro phenomenon? Anyone? L-Pro. If lamon is lahat Montessori, anyone who can guess? L-Pro? L-Pro is edi lahat progressive. Again, it's just my own combination of words, lahat progressive, meaning what I'm trying to say is the moment progressive became trendy, suddenly everyone became progressive. So, but parents ask, can they even tell the difference between one progressive school and another? No, because again, bananas. Let me show you what this looks like in the real world. Okay, a while ago, it's bananas. Now, it's apple. Now, here are the schools that think that they are unique. Different shades of green, but still green. If you remove the logo, if you remove the Facebook content, if you remove the uniform, remove the mission vision, would the parent know which school is which? Sometimes a school tries to be the red apple. New program, new branding, new color scheme, but is that the true differentiation? Or it's just cosmetic? Is it? So what am I trying to say? For us to be noticed, our school should be swimming not in the red ocean, but should be swimming towards the blue ocean. Then there. Who has heard of the blue ocean in the past as a concept? Please type yes in the chat box. There's none. Okay. All right. It's okay. That's why we are all here this afternoon and trying to learn from each other. Okay. So true differentiation isn't being a red apple among green apples. True differentiation is leaving the apple basket completely. And that's what you call the blue ocean. The blue ocean, it's more like an analogy. It refers to a space where there are fewer competitors because we stop competing on the same things. Okay? So in the next 40 minutes or so, 1 hour or so, we'll explore how to create strategies for your school. Okay? And try your school, challenge you as a leader to let your school swim into the blue ocean and not in the red ocean. I guess I failed to explain why it's called red. It's red because there are many sharks preying on each other. So the sharks now represent the different schools, the different establishments. So because of war, so we call price war or other promotion wars, then the ocean becomes bloody. That's what the red ocean is. And that's we do not want that. What we're saying is It has to be in an uncontested market space, blue ocean. You think, is that even possible in schools? I would say it is. We've been, as a school in Jubilee, we've been trying to do more and more of that. And I will show you the result towards the end. I'm going to show you a graph, a chart of what happened to us, what has been happening in our school because of our efforts in trying to be different from the rest of the pack and trying to swim into the blue ocean. Okay, so I have some cases here with me, but again, just like what I have mentioned a while ago, we may not be able to go through each one by one in detail. So a little bit of scratching the surface and a little bit of some examples later. So I'll be showing you the framework of the parent magnet blueprint, and then hopefully we will be reaching that point at the end so that you can, study it more carefully and see if you are challenged. If not, let's see how can we challenge you, okay? And then this parent magnet blueprint is derived from a business model innovation. Okay, so there you go. Let's start with the ways of differentiation, because the big question is how? How do we escape the sea of sameness? How do we create our own category? How do we start our differentiation? Okay, so we are going to start with marketing mix, but there is something that I would like you to take a look at. Okay, very quickly, I'm going to show you some of the items that, we do as a school. I do not know if you're doing them. Most schools would do it, I would assume, but let's see if you're also doing them. Which among the following do you do? There. Can you, I'm not sure if they are all clear. The first one is having a social media manager. Let me just move that. I see a thumbs up. Very good. Providing tutorial service. Please do a thumbs up also if you're doing it. I see that. Okay. Providing pocket flyers, infographics. I see another thumbs up. Sending letters or communication. Thank you letters or notes to parents. There. Okay. Sir Freddy is commenting greedy. Okay, greedy. Sorry, I may have missed this. Greedy about maybe a previous question, Sir Freddy? Yes? I'm assuming it's a previous question. Sige po. So let's continue. Number 5, measuring parent satisfaction for better engagement. Anyone? Thumbs up? No thumbs up. Oh, there's somebody. That's good. Conducting annual satisfaction survey. Do you do that? Do you also do pre and post? I see another thumbs up. Very good. Reaching out to at-risk families. Sending positive notes to parents about their child, mostly for preschoolers, especially if the school is relatively small, then you would be able to do something like that. Head of school personally delivering birthday cards to students. No, who's that? Anyone? Who delivers birthday cards to students? Magastos, no? It's just a card. No, it's not a card anymore. What do you send? Do you send something else other than a card? Is it a digital note? Okay. No one is doing a thumbs up. Okay. Creating memorable moments with parents and child. And then you post it in social media after. Do you do that? Doing conversations. Coffee with parents, for example. Do you do that? Coffee with parents, especially the parents who are on the fence and that they have shown their intention to leave your school. So do you invite them in your office and then you speak with them and then you try to find out why they are leaving the school? I see a thumbs up, another thumbs up. Thank you. Thank you for engaging. Doing state of the school address. State of the school, meaning at the beginning of the school year, it's more like the sauna of the president. So you address all the parents. And then you set what is the goal for the school year, the vision for the school year. I see 2 thumbs up. Very good. I see another thumbs up. Creating community connections or service. Oh, I see another. Thank you. Offering a program different from others. I see another. Creating content and posting in social media. Yeah. Oh, wow. That's quite a lot. Okay. Madami gumagawa ng content. Okay. Making your school accessible. Accessible. That's one. Okay. Others would not because of security reasons and some other factors. Giving discounts to parents with multiple enrollments. May I know who does it? 1, 2, discount to parents. There were 2. Oh, there's a love. Oh, 1, 2, 3. Madami. 4. Ah, you're giving discounts. I'm going to tell you that's not a very good strategy. It's not a good strategy. Price is never a good strategy. You may say, really? Yeah. I hope we'll be able to tackle that up in a while. Okay. Putting up tarpaulin for students' achievements. Who does that? I see a heart. Yeah, a heart. Ah, that's very common. Okay. Making your price point. Ma'am Milagros, sorry, no idea. Okay. Sige po. Let me see ha. I'm doing the chat and then the sending fruits to students who are sick. Wow, Ma'am Cleo. Ah, that's another thing. That's good. Making your price point lower than other schools. May I see? Do you make sure that your price point is lower than others? Let's see. Who says yes, we do that? Oh, surprisingly, there's none. Ah, sending fruits, we consider that. Okay, thank you. So you do not do price war. That's good. Number 20, providing free school service for students. Is there still any school who does that? Free school service? Let me see. Wala. Wala din. So number 19 and 20, there's none. Okay. There's none. Okay. But I love the sending fruits to students who are sick. Wow. I wonder how much budget do you have for the whole school year, especially if you have hand, foot, and mouth disease, or you have, the seasonal flu. I wonder how much budget. I'm just curious. Okay. So, what we do is, let me see. That's the quick audit so far. Where are we? Ways there. Let me see. Okay. Let me show you the next slide. Everything that is listed in the previous slide falls under the 4 Ps. That's the minimal, that's the lowest form of making your school different from other schools. And these strategies, mind you, these strategies started in 1960. My dear co-leaders, we are already in the year 2025. But some of these things are still true today. But again, just like what I've said, that's number 1 in ways of differentiation. That's called the marketing mix. It's the 4 Ps of marketing. The price, the place, promotion, product. Okay? Price, promotion, place, product. So all of those items that we have listed here, we can classify them whether it's promotion, it's product there. So for example, having a social media manager, that's under promotion. Providing tutorial service, that's product. Distributing flyers, that's promotion. Sending letters, that's promotion also. And so on and so forth there. And you would see I have put everything here together. So see there. Let's take a look at number 13, for example, creating community connections or service. That's part of your product. It can be integrated in your curriculum. Offering a program different from others, that's also product. Okay? And then creating content and posting in social media, quite a number of thumbs up we have had a while ago. That's promotion. Providing free school service for students, well, it's not promotion, that is about price. So the question is, which P dominates? May I ask a brave soul to answer? Which P dominates among the items that we have listed a while ago? Which among the 4 P's is a runaway? Anyone? Any answer? Let me see. I get an answer from... Oh, Ma'am Jennifer has a comment. We cannot lower the tuition fees because we need to give a competitive salary. Correct po. Correct. We cannot. And then, of course, our teachers clamor for competitive salary as well. And it's very difficult if we keep on lowering our price point as schools. Because, of course, we thrive through tuition fees. We grow our teachers, facilities, and all through tuition fees also. Okay, so let me see. May I ask anyone, a brave soul, please, to answer? Which P dominates? Among the 4, oh, Sir Freddy, promotion. Thank you, Sir Freddy. Yes, it's promotion. Why? Why promotion? Anyone would like to answer? Promotion, promo, Ma'am Chloe. I'm moving this. Okay, Ma'am Teresa also, promotion. Simply because I'm going to answer my own question. Promotion dominates because it's the easiest to execute. Agree, disagree? It's the most visible to parents. It's the least destructive to operations. Posting is easy, okay? Quite a number here a while ago. Thumbs up for the social media posting. It's easy. If you compare it with redesigning curriculum, that's very hard. We have been using, in our school, we have been using Cambridge curriculum, the international curriculum from UK. This is our 2nd year, and it has not been easy. There have been concerns from parents. And I have just had my meeting with them, I guess, more than a week ago, because we're supposed to have the full-fledged implementation of the Cambridge next school year. Our primary, we're doing our primary, that's for next completion of full Cambridge is next year, so up to grade 6. But the grade 6 parents, you see, it's already an international curriculum. Some of them, they do not like it. You see, so changing curriculum is hard. Posting is easy. Doing a promotion is easier. Making tarpaulins is also easy. Redesigning learning outcomes is hard, my dear co-leaders. Creating reels, well, others will say it's also hard. But, you know, with all the equipment and gadgets that we have these days, it's not that hard. But building a differentiated program is hard. And its schools, not by intention, but by pressure, have become promotion-driven instead of, take note, value-driven. Okay? So in education, the strongest P is actually promotion. Because education is a relationship-based industry. We deal with people. And parents choose schools they trust. Correct? But here is the challenge. When everything is promoting the same things, trust alone no longer differentiates you. That's why parent leaders keep saying all schools sound the same. Okay, agree or disagree? May I please see? Sorry, I cannot move on. It's just so hard to speak with gadgets. Gadgets cannot speak. So I would highly appreciate if you can say yes, agree, or no, I disagree with you in the chat box. Ma'am Chloe, thank you. Agree. Okay. It's okay to disagree. Hello. Are you still with me? Claire, are you still with me? Just checking.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, thank you. So there.
I'd like to add lang po. For our participants, if you'd like to speak or open your microphone, please let us know so that we can give you permission to open your microphone po. Ayun po, Ma'am Lorna. Thank you so
Ah,
much. Po, kasi
Claire.
they don't have any permission to open their mics po.
Kaya pala, Claire.
Opo. we have to give them permission first po.
Ah,
So, dear participants, if you're
yeah,
interested to open your microphone, that's okay.
yeah.
Let us know lang po so that we can give you permission. Thank you po, Ma'am Lorna.
Thank you, thank
Thank you
you.
po.
Yes,
Mm.
please ask Claire. You know, it's just so hard to talk without trying to know whether you're still there or not. So I'll stand for a minute. I'll just turn on the aircon just for a while.
All right, dear participants, while waiting po um, kay Ma'am Lorna, if you have any
I'm
questions
back.
or comments, so please add that to our chat box. Thank you po.
Okay. Promotion is looking for better strategy to persuade your market. Somebody said that. Okay, thank you. That's Mom Agnes. Hi, dear part. Okay, all right. Promotion. Okay, so there we go. So we are talking about the first starting point of differentiation. Yeah. So, and we were talking about promotion a while ago. Now, promotion, part of the 4 Ps, right? It started, that was created 1960s. It's now 2025. So what do you think is the second? Let's see. Okay. Uh-huh. We're still here though, ways of differentiation. And then now it's the next question is, where do you belong? Here. My figures here are not necessarily correct anymore. There. But more or less you would see, okay, the tuition fees, not necessarily, not exactly. So that's why I put the range. Some are published in the websites, others are not. Okay, I don't know if you also publish your um, tuition fees in your website. So for Brent, we know that it would cost 1 million. For CIS, there is a CIS teacher who just transferred to our school and, you know, was able to get some information. There are some schools who would charge 50 to 70 as tuition fee. And mind you, there are schools also who are charging even less than 50 or 70. To be honest, I do not know how they are surviving. I do not know. Okay, so here, uh, this is A, B, C, D. Although I did not put A, B, C, D. Anyone here whose category, school category, belongs to more or like Brent? Anyone? Please type your answer in the chat box. Anyone? Wala po. Walang taga-Brent. I'm referring to the tuition fee. Whose tuition fee is more like the CIS? 250 to 500,000. Anyone? Wala din po. Even us in Jubilee, we do not charge that much. How about less than 100,000? Anyone? Wala din po. There's one with a thumbs up. Thank you. How about lower than 50,000? Parang libre po kayong lahat. Walang tuition fee. Okay, let me see. Assumpta, 80 to 100. Okay. Okay. 22,000, 47,500. Assumpta Technical High School. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Okay. So this is another differentiation. It's the price. Okay. Schools would differentiate themselves with the price. And differentiating yourself with the price now comes with differentiation also in economic status, okay? Our target market. So in terms of economics, other than economic status, there are other differentiations like geographic segmentation. There are schools that are inside a subdivision, and that is your advantage because you are the only school in that subdivision. There are also schools who are gender-based or ethnic background. I don't know if you're familiar with St. Mark Learning Center. St. Mark Learning Center is a small school, but you know, they are progressing as well. It's a preschool, Chinese Filipino school. So That's what they cater to, Chinese background. We also have psychographic segmentation. Faith-based schools are considered under psychographic segmentation or differentiation. Jubilee is considered as a faith-based school. Of course, Catholic schools are faith-based schools as well. And then we also have benefit segmentation. A while ago, I was talking about LPRO, lahat progressive. So that's an example of benefit segmentation, progressive. We also have science preschools. I saw one along SLEX going to the south. There is a science school there, but not necessarily a preschool there. But schools would differentiate themselves using this. But even so, this segmentation, it's another way of segmenting it that would fall on number 2, second way of differentiation. Okay, so let me repeat here: geographic, we have psychographic, we have demographic, as well as benefit segmentation. A while ago, when we were talking about the marketing mix and we were talking about product, price, and stuff like that, then these are examples of price differentiation catering to different socioeconomic status or socioeconomic background. Okay, so in terms of this segmentation, I would like to point out that through these segmentations, the mix becomes more distinct. You would see a competitive advantage. Okay, like let's say, for example, here, competitive advantage in terms of benefit. We are a progressive school. Yun nga lang, schools tend to copy each other there. That's just the problem. Science preschool, so far, there's as much as possible, as far as I know, there are not too many science preschools yet. But of course, that is also competitive advantage. Niche marketing as well. Here, the St. Mark Learning Center, I was talking about this school catering to Filipino Chinese. That's their niche. They cater only to Filipino Chinese. So there. How about you? What's your niche? How do you segment yourself as well? So let me see. And then here, point of differentiation. It's called POD. What is your point of difference? Is it very distinct? Do people notice? Is that the reason why they enroll their children to your school? Of course, we also have visible expert strategy. Here, for example, if you are a science preschool, parents would perceive that, they are very good in science. Then therefore, that becomes your visible expert strategy. There are also preschools, I know, who would make their differentiation this way. All their teachers are graduate, for example, of UP. Have you heard of such school? I know of a particular school. All their teachers are graduates of UP. They would shut that out as their form of differentiation because they are not a very big school. But if they were the size of Jubilee, it's going to be very difficult for us. So we cannot make that as our visible expert strategy. Okay. So are we all still together? Let's now move on to the next question. What is the focus of these activities? So I was talking about competitive advantage, niche, POD, visible expert strategy. What is the focus of these activities? Number 1, they react to market demands. Okay, so when we say market, we are referring to parents. What do parents want? Okay, and for example, when we started iPad, that was before pandemic. When we started the use of iPad, I guess we were the second or the third iPad school in NCR, pre-pandemic. The first then was DLSU, La Salle Zobel. They were the first Apple school in Metro Manila, as far as I know. Why do I say as far as I know? Because we benchmarked with them. Okay. And with that, with the use of iPad, after us, we felt that a lot of schools, tried to copy also in a way, because those who are able, parents who are capable of purchasing, buying iPads for their children, then there is that clamor to lessen the content of the bags. So there, market demand. That's an example of the demand of the market. Okay. The next is respond to customer needs. That is also what these segmentation activities try to do. We respond. Now, this is very common because we as administrators, we in the school, we listen to the parents. And of course, we want to be called, this is a school that listens to us. We want that kind of trust, right? So when we respond to customer needs, chances are we do any of these things. Third is we perform exhaustive research to fully understand customer needs. So if we have been doing the things that I have mentioned a while ago, and if we have been doing any of this, or we belong to any of these segmentation activities, chances are what we are doing is we are following market-driven strategies. What are market-driven strategies? There are two concepts here. One is market-driving strategy, and then another is market-driven strategy. Are these concepts new to you? Please say yes or no in the chat box. Hello? Are these concepts new to you? Yes or no? Yes. Thank you, Ma'am Milagros. Anyone else? Ma'am Jenny, yes. Anyone else? Okay, Ma'am Milagros, Ma'am Jenny. Okay, thank you for the responses. Market-driven and then market-driving. I'm going to show you this first picture there. And then, of course, this next picture. These are just analogies. But we will understand market-driven and market-driving if we understand these pictures. Okay, what's happening here? It's obvious. Okay, people are pushing the truck, the car, the vehicle. What's happening here? No one is pushing the vehicle. None. So, which one is considered as market-driven? This picture or this picture? I know you are thinking. This is an example of market-driven because we listen to the parents. So what happens is, to simplify it, the parents has, in one way or another, has a say on the things that we do in school. The way we promote ourselves as a school, the way we create programs, because we are listening to the parents, all right? I'm not saying that's wrong, okay? I'm not saying that. We're just trying to differentiate it. Here, the school leader or the school administration knows not just what the parents want, but the school administration or the school leader is driving innovation so that the parents will follow. So that is what we call market-driven and then market-driving. Okay, now to concretize market-driven and market-driving. When Apple was new, Apple products versus Microsoft. Okay, let's say 5 years ago, or even now probably. Okay, which do you think is market-driven and which is market-driving? Can you write? Okay, I'll simplify the question. Which is market-driving between Microsoft and Apple? Is it Microsoft or Apple? May I see a response? Market driving, Sir Freddy, is Apple. Thank you, sir. Yes. Okay. Because they are very intuitive and counterintuitive in so much sense that they drive whatever the trend that they want people to follow. So they are trend setters. That's what they do. So in schools, are we trend setters also? Or we're just merely listening to the parents? Okay. Which one are we? Just listening to the parents? Let's see. I have some items here. These are market-driven cycle. I'm not saying it's wrong to be market-driven. In fact, before we can be market-driving, we have to be market-driven first. We have to listen to the parents first. But listening to the parents is not enough. There should be a point in our school history wherein we swim from that red ocean and go to the blue ocean. And that is the market driving. Okay, in a market-driven cycle, this is what we do. We collect data, we listen to the parents, we analyze them, and then we try to see what's common about what the parents are doing. And then after that, we create projects to answer what the parents need. Does this sound familiar? And then we work on them. And then we do check and control. When we do check and control, we check it also against the budget that we have. And then we get feedback, and then we iterate, evaluate, and then iterate. These are classic activities of market-driven, okay? Others, market-driven strategy, they become very market-oriented, okay? Determining distinctive capabilities, customer value capabilities, superior performance. So these are all market-driven strategies, okay? So basically, just like what I've said, it's more or less listening to the parents and following what they want. Again, let me just be clear about it. I'm not saying that's wrong. That should be the starting point. Okay, that should be the starting point. But we should not be satisfied with that market-driven cycle. Okay, now that's the point of our discussion. But let me show you an example of a market driving outside education. Comic relief. This is from United Kingdom. This comic relief, what they do is they gather several donations, and then because it's a charitable organization, so they gather donations. But you know what happens when people are gathering donations? I do not know if you have that in your school as well, but in our school, I would say that also. Let's think of other ways on how to gather donations from parents and students, because you know what's the problem? You know what's the problem? Donor fatigue. You are right. Because people also get tired giving. So this Comic Relief is a company in the UK. Instead of just doing what others have been doing, they did something else. How were they able to gather donations knowing that there is already donor fatigue setting in? What did they do? Let me see. They did Red Nose Day. You know what? You can do this in your school also. Red Nose Day. What do they do on a Red Nose Day? They did, you know, the little red nose squeaky item that people can put in their noses. And people would buy. And then on a particular day, that red nose, that squeaky red nose, everyone should be wearing that. And then people are free to tap on their noses to make things fun. Okay? It's a simple idea, but then there is that particular day and people would just buy that squeaky thing that can be placed in the nose. You see? So what did Comic Relief do? Did not do something that everyone is already doing, but did something different. So that different is an example of market driving. Are you getting me? Do you understand? I'm sorry. When I say do you understand, I am not trying to undermine your understanding. May I just know in the chat box if my explanation is clear? What's the difference between market driven and then market driving? Please type yes if it's clear, so I feel comforted also. Ma'am Jenny. Yeah, thank you. Yes po. Okay. Sir Nico. Yes po. Okay. Yes po. Doing things in another way. Thank you, Ma'am Chloe. Yan. It's, Ma'am Chloe, it's also called a contrarian method. Okay. It's another way. Thank you so much. Okay. So there. What could have happened if Comic Relief accepted existing industry practices? What could have happened? It could have been another flop, right? What could have happened if Comic Relief focused on benchmarking other charities and tried to better their practices? Okay. I have been in the education sector for more than 35 years. 36, I guess this is my 36 already. We have had several benchmarking activities already, local as well as out of the country. It's a blessing to see other schools out of the country. You would turn green, especially when you go to Singapore, when you go to Hong Kong. You would really turn green because you would see, maaawa ka po, where we are right now in our education setting. Very far behind the Philippines. We all know that. But, you know, it's also a blessing to see other things out there. Now, with benchmarking, we have learned a lot of things. Very good. But I have realized that the more we benchmark, we lose our difference from other schools. What happens? The more we benchmark, we get the best practices, and then we try to do the best practices, or we try to do better practices than the best practices. And then what do we end up with? We end up copying them, copying the others, and we end up being the same with others. That's what I realized. That's why benchmarking is not the best tool. Again, don't get me wrong. I'm already saying quite a lot of, you know, debatable items here. Benchmarking is good. But just like the market-driven, it's just the starting point. That should not be your one-all, be-all. Because you will end up like the schools you are benchmarking with. And then what will be your difference? No difference. You will go back to sea of sameness. Okay? So going back to Comic Relief did not do something else. But just like what Mom Chloe said, they did something else, something different. Okay? They pursued differentiation at low cost. Okay, I will not explain the cost anymore. Okay, that's a value, that's another value chain and all. We will not go to that. But what I'm trying to say is making a point that we should not settle for market driven. We should not settle for market segmentation. We should think. And how do we think? There are parameters that we will do later. Okay. Now, you will tell me, fine, I get it, but how? How can we be different? How can we be market driving instead of just market driven? This is my proposition to everyone. I call it the else question. Else, which now brings us to number 3 in ways of differentiation. Okay? The else question. Else. Who else? What else? Like, who else can we serve? What else can we offer? Have you been asking those questions? Who else? What else? Did you know that there are frameworks? And then we will go to those frameworks later. But this market driving or market creating is directly tied up to innovation. There are many innovation principles out there, but there are things that I would like us to know. And I am going to challenge all of us, school leaders, because again, in my years in the education field, you know, the last sector who would have the innovation, who would have innovations, you know who's the last sector? Can you guess? Can you write it in the chat box? The last sector to innovate. Who? Gising pa po kayo? Claire, are we still all here? Hello po. Ma'am Cleo, schools. Okay, thank you for the thumbs up. Okay, other than Ma'am Cleo, any other answer? Who is the last to innovate? Isa lang yung sagot. Church! I love the answer. Church! Educators, Ma'am Milagros, Ma'am Margarita. Wow, I love, and it's all caps, church. Okay, let me see. Okay, thank you for the responses. Sad to say, yeah, church. I don't like to say anything about that, but yeah, okay. Schools, we are one of the few entities who would be the last to innovate. Okay, the last to innovate. So the next framework is tied up to market driving. We are going to talk about different kinds of innovation. Okay, but before we go to innovation, we as school leaders, we should know what's the difference between value proposition and then value chain. When we say value proposition, we will just simplify it. That's the benefit. What benefit are we giving to the parents, to the students? When we talk about benefit, we do not say, oh, it's education. Better educate. That's not. It has to be very specific. Value chain is the process. Okay? So to simplify things, value proposition is the benefit. Value chain is the process or the series of activities. Okay, so those are the terms that we need to know. There are 3 levels of innovation. Level 1, major change in value, value proposition, more than major change in value chain or the system. Okay, an example, what is value proposition again? The benefit. Change in the benefit rather than change in the system. Okay, example, Singapore math. It's still considered as an innovation. Okay, it's still math. No one can change that. Be it in Singapore, be it Philippine math, it's still math. But then the focus has changed. That's why the benefit has changed. It's more on critical thinking. We all know that. That's level 1 innovation. An example is a school in Singapore, Early Learning Village. We have gone to this school once in one of our benchmarking. Grabe, you will drool with envy. This is a collaboration between Australian International School and Stanford American International School. Their value proposition, the benefit, what did they change? Listen up, my dear fellow leaders. More opportunities for outdoor learning. That's the value proposition that they change. Imagine the size of their school, 7 football fields, 100 classrooms. Wow. As in, wow. They are independent from the Ministry of Education in Singapore, the MOE. They are not, it's independent, okay? Because most of the schools in Singapore, they get some funding in one way or another from the government. And here, Early Learning Village, they're not. So that's their value proposition. Did they change their system? The system, it's still just like any other school, okay? That's why it's level 1. But the benefit, more for outdoor learning. So look at the pictures. Look. Sino ba naman ang hindi magdudrool dito? Who will not turn green in envy, right? Except if you have one in your school. Okay. Then there. See this? Yeah. So this is level 1. Benefit. What's their benefit? More outdoor learning. Okay. Are you imagining with me now? Are you imagining? So what do we change here? It's the benefit. Number 2, second level of innovation. Major change in value chain, meaning the system, the process. But in terms of the value proposition or benefit, it's just the same. Okay? So change in system. Excuse me, change in system. An example. You know this school? What school is this? Of course, we all know Ateneo, right? Matibay po sila eh. Let me see. Somebody is making a call. Sorry po. Yan. Although they are now changing because this is the gender differentiation in terms of senior high, and I guess in the future also they will be changing and following what La Salle has done. La Salle is now co-ed, and then Ateneo will be co-ed. But for the longest time, they have benefited. Ateneo has benefited in this level 2 innovation. Because when you say boys' school, you would think of you would think of Ateneo. But other than Ateneo, I do not have the picture here. I'm sure we know Xavier. Xavier is not keen on doing co-ed. They want to keep that distinctive advantage, that level of innovation that they have, that level 2. Well, we also do benchmarking with Xavier. We exchange the best practices with Xavier also, being a Chinese school. But they are not keen in doing co-ed like LaSalle or Ateneo, and they want to stick with that. Okay, now that becomes a strong differentiator for them, that level 2 innovation. You see? Now you will say, that's already an innovation. I didn't know. It is an innovation. Okay? Benefit is the same, but the system, it's different. So that's level 2. I have others here. This is in Sacred Heart School. This is in Canada. You know what they do? This is a co-ed school. But in their STEM program, what they do is, in the STEM, they separate the boys and the girls because they're banking on data of neuro research, neuroscience. Okay, I'm sure we are familiar with that boys and girls learn differently. Of course, we know that. We're very familiar. But this school, Sacred Heart School, has capitalized on that principle, on that fact. It's not a principle, it's a fact. That in terms of STEM programs, the boys are wired differently, and then they capitalize on that. So during STEM classes, the classes, boys and girls, they're separated, and that's their differentiation. Why is it a level 2 innovation? The benefit is the same. They changed the system, a part of the system, how they teach it, how they do it. Okay? So that's, are you getting it? Are you still with me? Please type yes in the chat box. It's 2:19. Hello? Are you still with me? Thank you for the thumbs up, and thank you for one heart. Level 3, and let's do it very quickly. If it is level 3 innovation, both the value chain, the system, and the value proposition, which is the benefit, both, sabay yan. The change is at the same time. That's why it's called level 3. Okay. One example is, you're familiar with Homeschool Global. And of course, DepEd has opened its doors for schools also to offer homeschool programs. And we are one of the few who have started with homeschool programs. And we are happy with the result so far. Okay, Homeschool Global. Let's talk about Homeschool Global and not our school. But if you want to benchmark with us, we are open. How to do it? Okay, Homeschool Global. They claim that they have served already 40,000 plus. Imagine that. They are only 25 years old, 40,000 plus families. They are only 25 years old. Jubilee is 58 years old. We have served more or less than 10,000 families in terms of graduates. You see the difference? Homeschool Global, they are the first ever accredited home education program. They used to be called TMA Homeschool. And then they are offering accreditation for homeschoolers also. Okay? So this is level 3, change in system. Why change in system? Because you don't have to set up your big space for a school. No need for classrooms, no need for too many teachers. No, it's different. Who is teaching? Of course, we know that it's the parents. In terms of capitalization, it's less. But in terms of the number of schools, number of parents that you are serving, the potential is greater. Okay? Are you learning with me? Please thumbs up again just to check if you're still here with me. Hello? There. Thank you. So that's level 3. Now, this level 1, 2, 3 innovations, just like what I've mentioned a while ago. Thank you, Ma'am Cleo. These are byproducts of market-driven strategies. These competitive advantage, niche marketing, point of difference, visible expert strategy. So they are all tied up. Okay, I hope you are getting an idea that you can do in your school. But guys, we are not done yet. We are just on level 3. Because when I say level 3, ways of differentiation, step 3. We have 4 steps. Okay. One way of doing market driving and not market driven is trying to know who are the customers you are serving and thinking outside the box, who are the customers you are not serving. So normally we would say, you know, customer first. A customer is always right. Okay, customer first. As educators, these terminologies are not acceptable. I know that. But I use this for marketing purposes. So when we say customers, we're referring to the parents. So forgive that. If I use the word industry, if you see it as, you know, some school leaders that I have spoken with, they would call marketing as a sin for schools. There, that's a different paradigm and I respect that. Okay, so we would say customers first, but others, especially market driving or market creating, they would say non-customers first. Why non-customers first? I'll jump into something. Let's see. I'm going to show you this framework. 3 tiers of non-customers. This is from the Blue Ocean framework. You would see the red. The red is your client, your current parents. They are your current market. These are your parents. Okay, but outside this red, outside this, who belongs to tier 1? The soon-to-be parents of your school. Tier 2, the refusing, they do not like. And the tier 3, unexplored. Okay. To make it clearer, I'm going to show you an example. It's in Japan. They use this framework. They explored the tier 3, unexplored. Look at this. Look at this. This is called the Japan's Toyama model. Okay? It's old, 1993, but still relevant today. The current market, parents with young children in the city of Toyama. Okay? Schools, of course, there, just like your school, this is it. Wherever you are right now, that's where you are. That's the red. Number 1, parents who consider their competition. So that means other schools. Number 2, people with disability. Oh, they tried people with disability also. Looking at people with disability. But you know, they explored tier 3. Families with older relatives. What's the result? The result is intergenerational model of schools in Japan. Because we all know of the aging population in Japan. Aging population, more older people than the younger ones, correct? So they saw that in the home of the aged, for example, the older ones, they are not very happy with their setup. They would need people to amuse them. And who would be these people to amuse them? Young kids, young students. Thus, the creation of intergenerational. It's a mix of, you would see parents would bring their children to school, and older generation, the home for the aged, they're there also. So it's a mixture of school and home for the aged. See? Who would think of something like that? Well, of course, because of the population in Japan. But in what I'm trying to say here is it may not be applicable in the Philippines, but that should not stop you from thinking, who is my tier 3? Who is the unexplored market? That's what we have been doing in Jubilee now. Because our competitor, Xavier, for example, they are in New Valley. Chiang Kai-shek, for example, they are in Silang, Cavite. And you know, I'm sure you had seen that. Their school is so huge. Who's this in Quezon City, beside Ateneo? Miriam also is in New Valley. And MGC, I don't know if you know MGC New Life, they'll also be in Silang, Cavite. No, not Silang. Somewhere in Bacoor also. So everybody is going up south. And then we said, what will we do? Okay, so we came up with our own program because we already have existing Cambridge school. So it's our dream. We are working on it. It's a dream. And we are hoping to be the first Cambridge homeschool in Asia. It's a dream. Okay lang naman po mangarap, di po ba? So there, applying this tier 3 unexplored market. Okay, why in Asia? Because Cambridge homeschool right now, they are all in UK. There's none in Asia. Okay, but because of our affiliation with Cambridge now, it's a lot easier. God willing, we will be able to do that. So you see, well, you may say, hey, it's because you have the resources. Hindi rin. We just have to think differently. Okay? So it's 2:28. It's time check. Okay. We are in the market driven. Let me see. I have to skip the rest. And let us backtrack. Let me see, Claire, if you can open their microphones, please. And may I just hear, before I go to the last, which is the business model innovation. May I just hear any thought? Hello po? Any insight at this point before we move forward? Hello? Claire, anybody home?
Hi, ma'am. Yes po.
Yes po. Anyone who would like to share her insight? Am I making sense to you? You know, Claire, I wish we really had more time. I have several examples, local examples, but of course, wish lang yon, wish ko lang. Okay.
It's a
Hello?
good opportunity din po to held another session if
Let's see.
let's see po.
Let's
Thank
see.
you po. All right, dear participants, you may now unmute your microphone if you'd like to share some insights or comments po about the discussion. So you may unmute your microphone po. Thank you.
More examples. Ma'am Teresa, opo, more examples. But yeah, we have 30 minutes. I wish I have more time. Yeah. Sige po. Thank you, Ma'am Teresa, for responding. So let's go back now. It seems like you are still thinking, probably, the else question. Now, who else? What else? What else? The last else question. The who else and what else, they fall under number 3. Number 4 answers the question, how else? Thus, the business model innovation come into play. And so far, if you're going to look at all the years, you see the innovations also from marketing mix in 1960, segmentation in 1968, 2017, that's market driven, business model innovation, that's before the pandemic also. There is now what we call trust economy, but that's a different topic also. I tried to infuse it here, but then no, we can't. That's altogether a different topic. Okay, how else? The question is how else? How else can I run the school? What kind of system will I follow? So that you differentiate yourself from the rest. Okay, that's a very big question. And the answer there is the business model innovation. It's a new way that company or schools can create and deliver value to a set of parents for profit or non-profit. Okay? Whether you are a non-profit school, Jubilee is a non-profit school. But of course, we also need resources. We cannot run our programs without resources. Yeah. So I just put there for profit. To sum it up, how do we do the business model innovation? Because it's a how else question. This is the summary. I'm starting with the summary. Being different in a different way. Have you heard of something like that? How can your school be different, not just be different, but be different in a different way? A while ago, in the marketing mix, in the segmentation, how are you different? You are different in terms of price, in terms of place, geographical location, in terms of program or your offering. Okay? But here in number 4, being different is not enough. How can you be different in a different way? Okay. Now comes the kinds of business model innovation. There are 3 kinds. One is the offering BMA. That's the what else? Operational BMI, sorry, not BMA. BMI is the business model innovation. Operational, how else? Industry, you put the 3 together. Who, what, and how else? Okay, these 3. And the canvas that we use is this, BMI Parent Magnet Blueprint. Because we start with a vision. There has to be a vision. We balance marketing operations there. And then in terms of target clients, we're referring to the parents. Okay, customer relationship, income structure, value network, rearrangement, cost, complementors, and the like. Okay, income structure. There, how are you running your school in terms of income? Okay, value network is how do people see your value as a school, and is that translated to enrollment? Okay, so a lot of things here. Let me see, let me go back to the rest. Kinds of value proposition or benefit there. It should be functional, emotional, social, or economic, because we cannot all serve the same market naman. So there are cases that I have here, but I will focus on quite a few. I have local cases also. I will focus on Hildebrandt Learning Center. Okay, this is a preschool. They started at the basement in Pennsylvania in 1991. This is in the US. Okay. Who started it? It's the Bill Grant and his wife. And then they struggled to make ends meet when they started. But in year 2015, they became 45 company-sponsored early learning programs. So they have 45 learning programs with them, and then 2 adult daycare service centers. They had around 1,000 employees serving 4,500 kids. Your schools may be bigger, okay, but this one is just focused on preschool. So the 4,500 for preschool, to me, it's already huge. In our school, we only serve around more or less 300, 400. Okay, and then they were regarded as top 50 lists in childcare information exchange. That's in the US, North America. And then in 2015, because it was meant to be a profit, so they were sold to Bright Horizons Family Solutions. Okay, so here we go. Then now they are called Hildebrandt Learning Centers. Okay, then these are now the new owners, Bill Grant, and then there, Timothy O'Shea. We are not always trying to grab the newest thing out there. That's their mantra. Let's look at their business model. Okay, who are their target clients or parents? Young children of parents working for hospitals, for local agency, meaning organizations, college or universities. So the target is working parents. Okay? Customer relationship, they listen to what companies are interested in the needs assessment survey. You would see that income structure, there is a management fee, because what they do is they would set up preschools inside this hospital or local agency or even the university. And then they get income from there. So it's more like a fusion type. Okay, so network, hospital, government agency, colleges or universities, they set up inside these organizations. And then rearrangements, the facilities are owned by the sponsoring company. Okay, and then in terms of cost, their cost is of course the staff, advertising, and then IT. And then their complementers are complementers, career builders, meaning to say they work with career builders in terms of hiring. So they are not the only ones hiring. There is a particular agency who hires teachers for them. Okay, and then somebody advertise for them also. So they do a lot of contractual. So these are their complementers. Resources and processes, you would see here, NAEYC, this is an accreditation body for preschools. So their programs are accredited by NAEYC. They have regular mentoring and they have what they call NAPINARS. NAPINARS, this is part of the program inside the centers. And then in terms of value proposition, the benefit, high quality childcare programs. And families at work, the parents there, they are allowed to visit, especially on breaks or on lunchtime. Because remember, who are the target clients? Working people. So it's more like they care. Okay, they take on sponsors culture. And then channel, they advertise on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and then they also meet with companies. So there. How is this different? This is an example of, I was saying a while ago, industry business model innovation. They redefine and solve an existing industry problem. What is the problem that they are solving here? Parents who go to work and they do not know with whom they are going to leave their children. So this group saw the opportunity. So therefore, they set up the daycare, not at their own, but inside these organizations. I do not know. Do you know of anyone who's doing this in the Philippines? I know of centers in the Philippines, but then they are independent. They are not inside an organization, neither a hospital. I had not seen one. Is there anyone who has seen? None? Oh, nakakatakot pag tahimik kayo. Are you still listening with me? Okay, so this is an example of industry business model. You are solving, redefining an existing industry problem. Okay, I have other several examples here. Kids and Company there. There's but then I guess what I can do is I have some other local examples also. I can just give some of the items to Claire, and then if you're interested, then you can get them from Claire. I cannot discuss all of them, but I just want to show you that this is an example of business model innovation, and then there are three kinds, okay? Because there is a Q&A also from Claire, if I'm not mistaken. Hello, Claire?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes po. Okay.
Yes.
So, is it okay? I'll just give the other examples. I have quite a number because, yeah, workshops and all, but then, yeah. Okay.
Sure po.
Okay. I can just give to the rest. But then, I would like to end, let me see. Okay. The best timing to do an innovation. Level 1, 2, 3, 4. Item 1, 2, 3, 4 a while ago. When is the best timing? When to do an innovation in your school? These are indicators. Number 1 are the parents. Changing needs. You know, there are just, the needs of the parents are, you know, the generation is really different. When kids returned after the pandemic, you would already know. You are dealing with different sets of parents. You are dealing with different sets of students. And that gap has not closed yet. There is a research that says specifically in math, it closes after 7 years. We are still reeling the effects. So there are changing needs, especially with artificial intelligence now. Things are just so fast. And then when we say the brain is meant to process, kids cannot just process a lot of things these days, especially the younger ones. There are just so many problems, okay? So changing needs. If there are changing needs, we see changing needs as educators. it's time to do an innovation. It's time to address, because I said a while ago, we start with market driven before we could go to market driving. Okay? Okay, if it is your own school, when your performance is below average, you know, it's time to change as well. Okay, for other schools are fast catching up. It's time to think as well. Okay, it's time to think. Yeah, when you change or when you do an innovation, you have to start from your comfort zone. Okay, what is your school good at? And then the challenge is, which among these that you are good at can be turned into an innovation? I see Claire a while ago has talked about play to read in 30 days. It's a thesis that I have done, but you know, it's a level 2 innovation. Why did it turn into an innovation? Because reading is just reading, right? But we saw the opportunity and we are using that in our school right now. Okay. Next, what is my school bad at? You also need to know what are you bad at, and then what configurations can you make. Okay? That's the time. These are the different questions that you have to ask when you would like to shift to other systems, to other items, or you want to do a simple innovation. Let me just share. This is our enrollment in our school. You would see here 2015, 2016. And then you compare the current, our current, I don't have to show the figures, of course, but then you would see here that our current is higher than pre-pandemic. The drop here is the pandemic, of course. After the pandemic, when we started doing marketing activities and all, that's when we started to rise and go back. There are other schools who were, yeah, I pity them. They were not able to come back anymore, but more and more schools are doing their best again, okay, after the pandemic. But for us, it was a struggle how to entice the parents one more time, okay? So a lot of things. And this is a testimony that what I am talking about today in terms of market-driven, market driving business model, it's a testimony that when we apply these things, when we think back, when we think, we evaluate, and we try to set our eyes on particular vision, then our enrollment increase. Why is the increase in enrollment important to us? Because we are a Christian school, and that we want to share the gospel to as many Filipino Chinese students as we can. That's our mandate. Because if there are no students, we don't have resources to fund, just like what I said a while ago, our programs. And then we cannot exercise our mission as well. Because our mission is to make a difference in the lives of Filipino Chinese by sharing the gospel. So there, we ought to have students. Without students, how can we live our vision and mission? Okay? So do exciting things, innovate, and your school will become vibrant. If you do more of the same, you will watch your school's attractiveness decline.